Hello everybody. So we all know that when it comes to video game movie adaptations, studios can't seem to get it right because, well, let's face it, they're basically like normies trying to make a presentation about something they have no interest in, and have likely never even played a video game in their lives. But surprisingly, there are a handful of video game movie adaptations that I still really enjoy. And not because I think they nailed it, but because they either gave me enough of what I wanted to see in a live action portrayal, or they're just so cheesy that I find it hilarious and enjoyable. So here are my top 5 video game movie adaptations that I love but everyone else hates. Well, the majority of viewers hate. Number 5, Silent Hill. So not long ago I finally got a hold of the first Silent Hill game and completed it, which I made a review of it in case you're wondering what someone's first time experience would be like from nowadays. In the end, I really enjoyed everything about it, and I always wondered why Silent Hill fans did not enjoy the first film based on the game, because I thought it was a great movie. I still do, even after playing and completing the first game. It hasn't shattered the experience I had with the flick. I can see why fans don't like it though, mainly because the protagonist isn't Harry Mason, and instead his wife is the one who goes around looking for their daughter in Silent Hill. His wife. The one who died 4 years before he entered Silent Hill. So that alone already breaks the story that fans knew about with the first game, and there are even more things that happen throughout the movie which should not have happened, such as a large group of survivors taking shelter at a church, and the entire conclusion not at all feeling like the same conclusion to the first game, or any of its alternate endings. But even after noticing all the changes made for the film, I can't hate it. And you know why? Because I know for a fact that if we had at least one Resident Evil film that was exactly like this, I would have accepted the crap out of it. Every little change throughout the movie was not enough to break the experience of a Silent Hill adaptation. The ending was the only big difference, and even that did not feel out of place. I can see that happening as an alternate ending. After all, Silent Hill comes with alternate endings, and the execution with the movie's ending felt like something I'd see in the video game. And the changes that were made just don't feel like something I should get mad at. One of these days, I'm gonna make a deep analysis review of that movie to compare it scene by scene with the game series, so I can fully explain what works and what doesn't. But for now, out of everything I remember seeing from both the first game and the first film, I really can't complain. Because again, if a Resident Evil adaptation was like the first Silent Hill film, it would have pleased the hell out of me. And I'm sure you would have liked it too. Think about it. What do we like about both Resident Evil and Silent Hill games? We explore the environment. We look for clues, uncover specific puzzles, all while trying to avoid dealing with creatures or beings that will stop at nothing to hunt us. And we definitely don't go around shooting everything in sight, at least not in the original ones. That's exactly what we got for the first Silent Hill film, uncovering the deep secrets that lie within it. And to make things even more amazing, they threw in the exact musical tone of the first game. That's too good. Man, I'm gonna have to make that movie review sooner than ever. But those are the main reasons of why I really enjoy the first film. Trust me, it could have actually been bad. It could have been like Silent Hill Revelations. Yeah, that's definitely a train wreck. Number 4, Dead or Alive. This movie is just too damn enjoyable for me. The characters are not all exactly like their video game versions. Some of them don't have the same personalities, but it's such a cheesy and entertaining flick. Now, if a video game is going to get a movie adaptation, the least they can do is try to give us the main things that we love about the game. With Dead or Alive, I love the fighting aspect, I love the costumes, the characters. The fact that this game series mainly focuses on female fighters is awesome because every other fighting game mostly focuses on the dudes. And the chicks are all bombastic. Can't complain about them, right? Like the women in WrestleMania, it's a doozy. It's a doozy and a pleasure to have them in the games. The story? Honestly, who plays Dead or Alive for the story? But you see what I mean? This movie gave us exactly that. It's like the director and writer knew that this game series is not about taking itself seriously. With chicks like these, and the fact that it's a fighting game series, that's a simple, entertaining movie right there. Just get the girls looking exactly like they do in the games, the guys as well, and most importantly, make those fight scenes entertaining, and that's it. and in my opinion, those fight scenes are off the hook. I can't complain. There aren't a shit ton of jump cuts, which is a big issue with fight scenes in a lot of movies. Oh, and another cool thing they threw in, a volleyball match. Yeah, now that is how you do video game references. Again, how do fans complain about this? I know our boy Ninja Gaiden doesn't act like Ryu Hayabusa should, but that's not too bad because Ryu in the games, he's not really talkative. He's like every main fighting game protagonist, a quiet, brooding character that most likely goes solo. So I could care less if he doesn't act like that in the movie. He still fights like a champ, and we got to see him fight using nunchucks. I love it. And another big plus would have to be Tina, played by Jamie Presley. Oh my god, that woman is on fire. She was meant to play this character. Most of the female characters did a great job portraying their roles, but Jamie knocked it out of the park. She is Tina Armstrong. Seeing how movies are completely toning down the arousing appeal of women nowadays and giving us barely any eye candy for the few of us men out there, it only makes this movie even more of a gem. Femme fatales such as these ones will never be seen and adored again. Not in a long time, that's for sure. The edginess in movies are pretty much gone by now, so movies like this will always live on and never be forgotten. At least for this jabroni over here. I don't even care that the main antagonist is Eric Roberts using sunglasses to give him a proper netcode in a real fight. It's all just a fun, cheesy movie that's clearly not meant to be taken seriously. I would have loved to take part in this movie, in fact. The behind the scenes must have been a blast. I bet everyone had fun on set. But yeah, pop this movie in and I'm sure you too will enjoy it because again, I don't know anyone who goes around playing Dead or Alive for its story. And it's all about the girls, the fighting, Tina, and a little bit of volleyball. Number 3, Mortal Kombat, 2021. I'm sure a lot of fans are saying, whoa, you crazy Score? Don't you mean the first Mortal Kombat movie? No, not at all. I mean, I do like the first movie, of course, but you know what I love about Mortal Kombat games? Like with the DOA series, I love the characters, the costumes, the fighting, and for this series, I love the blood, the gore, the fatalities, and the battle damage. What did we not get from the first MK film? There was no blood, no gore, no battle damage, and not every costume was accurate in appearance. Some of them retained the right personality, but the movie was super tamed. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, I'm just saying that if I had to choose between both the 1995 film and the 2021 film, I'd by all means choose a 2021 film. If you want to know more details of what I liked and disliked about this movie, I made a movie review about it, so you can check that out as well. Right now, I'm just summarizing the things that I liked about this movie. Like with the DOA movie, this MK flick gave me everything I wanted to see in a live-action Mortal Kombat film. Of course, it has its flaws, such as the logo tattoos giving each fighter a special ability, or Goro taking on Cole Young being a character in the story, but the cons definitely don't outweigh the pros here. The MK characters look and act exactly like they do in the games. That's perfect! I hate when they change a character's appearance and personality to the point that they're unrecognizable. I love the costumes, the characters, especially Kano. I never thought I'd love Kano more than every other character in Mortal Kombat. Scorpion was amazing, Sub-Zero was like the main antagonist. How badass is that? And even though Cole Young was a made-up character, he didn't take up most of the movie's time, and he wasn't a Gary Stu. He had to keep up with everyone. I like that. Liu Kang and Kung Lao were perfectly portrayed as well. They are the Shaolin monks. Sonya was amazing. I love this Sonya more than the previous versions, no bullshit. I love that she uses throwing knives as part of her fighting style. Jax was jacked, and his fight against Sub-Zero is unforgettable, especially that conclusion. They all definitely fight like they do in the games, except for Rico, but he barely got any attention in the games, so it's sort of understandable of why they didn't really treat him the way he was, in the games for the movie. The music was great, and I really love that they didn't use any green screens like they do with movies nowadays. I mean, they barely use some, but just barely. So yeah, those are my main reasons as to why I like this MK movie adaptation. It's phenomenal. Gives me everything that I want to see in an MK movie adaptation. And I'll never go with the majority vote of calling this a bad Mortal Kombat film. Number 2, Doom. Yup. This movie had me the moment I saw it in theaters. I fully understand that this movie is not a perfect representation of the Doom series. In fact, they don't even call the creatures demons. They're all people infected with an extra chromosome that turns them into a bizarre looking creature if they are people who have more bad intentions in life than good. And if they were more good than bad, then they look the same but become superhuman, get like super strength, rapid healing. But if they were more good and died, then they turn into a raging zombie. Still sounds cheesy like the games, doesn't it? It's not the same, but the end result is the same with the design of the creatures. So I understand why this movie was hated by Doom fans, but I'm a Doom fan and I still enjoy it. But I enjoy it for all the little things. Maybe some are the wrong things, but enjoyable nonetheless. We still have Space Marines, the double RTS, led by Sarge, who's played by Dwayne Johnson. Carl Urban plays Reaper. He's like player 2. Well, I guess that makes sense if Doom was always like a 2-player co-op. But that's kind of the way I saw it. I like that the creatures look exactly like they do in Doom 3, and that they used makeup and practical suits instead of CGI. The music is dope as fuck. I like that the actors actually took military training to understand how to hold their weapons and communicate like they should. But the greatest and most unforgettable scene of all has got to be that first-person sequence. This saves everything about the movie. I can't believe people complained about this scene. Once again, people will ridicule something just because a lot of people hated on this movie. And let's be honest here, seriously, if the Doom series got an actual 100% accurate film adaptation, do you honestly think it'd be a great movie? Hell no! It's a non-stop action first-person shooter game with a protagonist that never speaks. What kind of movie would that be? Just non-stop bam 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 bam, splat bam 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 bam, explosions, bam 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 bam, go through an elevator. Bam 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 bam, just non-stop. Like, come on. That's what you want? You want to see that movie instead? Watch any Michael Bay Transformers sequel or Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil sequels with their non-stop action flicks. Too much action with no pause for dialogue or story is just utterly boring. You'll yawn at least 30 times throughout the movie with non-stop action. I know, doesn't sound like you would, but you will. It would have been a terrible movie if they made an accurate Doom film. I'm just saying, if I had to choose between what we got and a perfect Doom adaptation, I'm sticking with the 2005 Doom film adaptation. Number 1, Street Fighter the movie. After explaining why I love the previous 4 movies on this list, I'm gonna sound calm as hell for this one. It's probably not number 1 when compared to the rest. They're probably all not in order, but I love them all. And with this one, I just never get tired of watching this flick. Street Fighter is another game series that I don't think anyone plays for its story, at least not for me or anyone I know of. But something about this movie just grows on me. I love everything about it. I'm not saying it's perfect, it's in no means a good Street Fighter adaptation. There are a lot of things that I don't like about it. For example, the fact that some of these actors were clearly chosen just because they are actors and not because they can act and fight. Like with Ken Masters played by Damien Chapa and Sagat played by Wes Studi. They can act, but it's clear as crystal geyser that they can't fight for shit. Look at the way they put up their guard. Look at the way they perform each strike. If you have experience fighting and training in martial arts, you'll know when someone's pretending to know how to fight. So seeing them fight really just ruins the illusion that they're supposed to be some of the best fighters in the movie. The greatest actor and performer would have to be Raul Julia's General M. Bison, of course. He completely steals the show. But the greatest Street Fighter performer would have to be Jay Tavares Vega. This guy definitely did his homework. He looks 100% like Vega should. He moves and fights like Vega, and if you pay close attention, he even makes those sounds every time he strikes, like Vega. I love it. I wish they gave him more lines. He barely speaks, and yet he's the most accurate character in the movie. So this is just one giant cheesy flick, but it just gets better every time I rewatch it. I love quoting the characters, mainly Bison's dialogue. It's funny how Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile talks like in this movie. Well, I am the Repo Man, and you're out of business. Or, the only way you two are leaving is over my dead body. What can I say? I'm a sucker for this flick. So those are just my top 5 favorite video game live action movie adaptations. But what are your favorites? You gotta have at least one, right? Let me know in the comments which ones they are and why you like them. And with that said, that's it for the video. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video, and if you truly enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content from this jabroni. I cover lore videos, facts, movies, and game reviews, all based on my favorite franchises such as Resident Evil, The King of Fighters, Mortal Kombat, Celebrity Deathmatch, The Mask, Dragon Ball, The Terminator, TMNT, and more. I'd like to give a very special thanks to all my Patreon supporters. This video is for you, and I hope you like seeing your name at the end credits of this video. And if you too would like to see your name at the end of a new vid, be sure to join my Patreon, where you also get to receive exclusive videos and updates such as new art panels for my Resident Evil Outbreak comic that I'm working on. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.